What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Horror Movie Review with this guy, Daniel Richardson. And man, I am just waiting. I'm waiting for everything to kind of calm down and go back to, well, what used to pass as normal, I guess. Just waiting for theaters to be back open and for this whole Corona thing to just kind of die down. Or COVID. No one calls it Corona anymore. You notice that? Like, literally, it was Corona forever. And then now it's like they're just trying to get away from that and go to COVID-19. Marketing, I guess, for the Corona beer company, I suppose. But now, anyways, good news is within about 3 weeks or so, we're going to be able to resume filming on Chris Cage, Modern Day Van Helsing. So I'm pretty fucking pumped about that. So, all right, so guys, let's get to it. Now tonight's huge movie, huge, iconic horror film. Which I'm not gonna lie, I don't like reviewing like the big ones unless I hate them. Like when it's a huge iconic movie and I love it, I don't know what to say. Like, what can you really say about the movie that hasn't already been said a million fucking times before? Because I mean, you can find hundreds, if not thousands, of videos right here on YouTube about the movie we're gonna be doing tonight, which is the original, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So we'll get to that shortly, but let's get to some news first. Documentary has been released. You can find it. I think it's on video on demand right now. Fulci for Fake. Fulci fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, Italian. I was blanking on his fucking nationality there. Italian gore director, if you will. It's a whole documentary about him, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But I guess a lot of it revolves around his daughter. So just some insight into the man who directed some classic Zombie, House by Cemetery. The list goes on and on. You know the guy by now. If you haven't, then you should definitely go check it out. I know it's blasphemous. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I always preferred Fulci movies over Argento. Like, I don't know. I like Fulci's better. But anyways, not here nor there. So yeah, new documentary. Go check it out. Is announced this past week that Scott Derrickson, who's the director of Sinister, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and I don't give a fuck, I will throw down with somebody, the completely underrated Hellraiser Inferno. I don't like it because Pinhead's not in that long, and it wasn't even originally going to be a Hellraiser movie. Shut up. Fuck off. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. Anyways, very underrated director. I didn't watch he did the Keanu Reeves remake, Dangerous Still, that's it. I didn't watch it, so I can't really talk on that one. But he also did Doctor Strange, which I had no idea. Big studio movie, that guy. But apparently he had some creative differences for part 2. Had some kind of madness, something, dimension, subtitle. I don't really remember. Doesn't fucking matter. I'm not a big Marvel superhero guy. I'm not a big DC superhero guy. I'm not a superhero guy. I guess I could just blanket statement that right off the bat and just say I'm a big superhero guy. But either way, no, so he's off of part 2, which they brought in Sam Raimi, another horror guy, to take over the reins for Doctor Strange 2. But Scott Derrickson apparently has another sequel under his belt coming up. Which, do we need a sequel to this? I don't think so, but he's going to be doing Labyrinth 2. I feel like this is going to be a Disney Plus exclusive or some shit like that. Like, I'm sick of all. I've already said it. I won't go on a rant. I feel like last week's episode was very rant heavy, so I'm gonna do my best not to rant this time. But I feel like that's just where everything's going right now. It's all gonna be streaming services, and everybody's gonna have their own individual, straight to streaming feature. And I don't know. I'm just kind of like, it's not like he's gonna get a theatrical thing. And once again, but what would you want from Labyrinth 2? Like, Jennifer Connelly's old, so it's not like it's going to be her. Unless she, pulls a hook and, goes back, the older version of her, and sees all her, I'm assuming, differently voiced friends from the Labyrinth, because I couldn't imagine those guys are still alive. David Bowie's dead, so Goblin King's gone. Labyrinth's a movie that, like, if you would have asked me when I was younger, if I was a big fan of Labyrinth, I'd be like, yes, love Labyrinth. And then, like, in my early 20s even, if you would have been like, Daniel, do you like Labyrinth? I would have been like, yes, classic. And then I rewatched it, like, in my mid-20s, and, like, it's still a fun watch, but it's like, oh my God, like, maybe because I'm older, it just seems like a very young Jennifer Connelly and David Bowie. It just seems very creepy. The entire like ballroom dance scene and beyond is just like, ugh. And I'm not gonna lie, I left a sour taste in my mouth for a minute. I got the DVD still, so I may pop it in one of these days, and maybe I'll get past that. But I don't know. I was very uncomfortable watching it, so I'll just say that. We'll leave it at that. So, anyway, so yeah, Labyrinth 2 coming to, I guess, Disney Plus or the theater. They didn't specify, but I just can't imagine that's going to get a big theater release or theatrical release. So I can assume that's going to be Disney Plus. But thinking of theatrical releases, so in the era of COVID-19, we literally haven't had any new movies from like major studios at all. However, I reported before that, the drive-in scene's doing pretty good right now, and even though a lot of it is just classic films, like they actually got a friend, he's the associate producer of the Unspeakable Acts, Jason Bell. He's actually watching E.T. tonight. They're having a screening of E.T. at the local drive-in. So, drive-ins are still going, but there has been some indie and underground production companies that have gotten together in studios and really started doing the drive-in circuit. And one of those movies that we talked about before was called The Wretched. And I'll be honest with you, The Wretched did not look like a good movie. It looked like B-movie creature feature. It didn't look that great to me. But I'm happy for horror. Whenever horror starts, dominating, it grossed over 600,000, and they say it's well on its way to $1 million, which doesn't sound like a lot of money when we live in an era of like Joker making $1 billion, and even when Star Wars movie bombed, it still covers 150 million box office. So maybe 1 million don't sound like much, but it's like this was a nothing movie that was probably just going to be. I mean, it probably wasn't going to get a theatrical release, but it would have been like in select cities, if that, and then would have went straight to video on demand, and probably would have made a whole lot of money. And even rentals, it probably wouldn't have done a whole lot, but it was definitely it cashed in on this whole thing, and people were starved for new content, new movies, and there you go. They are on their way to $1 million right now. So congratulations to those guys. And who knows? Maybe it's not a bad movie. I hadn't really heard anything about period. So who knows? Maybe word of mouth gets around. But maybe I'll check it out. But so yeah, there's that. And speaking of new content that we're starved for, I was literally apparently I guess, and this ain't the first time they've done it, but there is a little opera house that's out of I want to say Milwaukee or Minnesota. I don't know. It's somewhere. Wait, Milwaukee's in Minnesota, isn't it? Yeah. Anyways, I forget where this came out. I want to say it's out in Milwaukee. Doesn't matter though. Anyways, but it's a little opera house, and they were doing The Shining, the opera. And apparently though, it only had a couple of showings. I don't know what you call opera showings. Events, screenings, not screenings, I guess showings, opera, just live. What do you call it when a play? It didn't matter. But anyway, they had a showing, and they did a couple days, but I guess they sold out back to back, and they only ran it for a limited time, but they were going to bring it back out. But unfortunately, Corona, it's the new go-to. It's the standard now. Everything goes to Corona, and it just shuts everything down. It kills the fun. It's fucking fun, please, for sure. Anyways, but they went ahead and their schedule opened up, I guess, sometime next year. So 2021, you're in the area, you want to see the opera, check it out. But they did drop a link, and I don't have the link on me. I'm sorry, I would have put it in the comments or the comment section for you guys. I don't have it on me, but I'm sure you can find it. But they had audio, no video, but of the Shining the Opera. Actually, that's the whole thing. It's like an hour, close to 2 hours, about an hour and 30 minutes maybe. Hour 40 minutes. I don't know. It's a bit little thing, but I had it kind of playing in the background while I was doing other stuff. And I'm a big opera guy. I wish I was more refined and sophisticated like that, and be sitting here instead of drinking out of this solo cup. I'd be a little wine glass and have a little cheese plate right here. Listening to opera. And I try to be fancy, but I can't do it. I try to listen to it, can't do it. But I bet the visually, I bet it'd be kind of fun. They said it's actually a really fun stage show. And apparently, they even kind of spoiled it. I guess between intermissions, there's actually a pretty neat jump scare that involves projecting a ghost up on the stage, but it pops out of nowhere and the music goes loud or whatever. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. So I mean, even after hearing the entire opera, which I wasn't huge on, I would still go check out The Shining, the opera. Apparently they did it with Dolores Claiborne, I think was the other one, which I thought was. I never read that. They did a movie, didn't they? But I don't think I've seen it either. So yeah, kind of an odd choice. I just feel like if you're gonna do opera, like Carrie would be a fun one. I know they did a stage play of that, which I don't know how it did. What the play critics thought about it, but I thought it was all right. I thought it'd be a cool idea, so I'd check it out. And lastly, we're going to go to the realm of video games. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm just not a big gamer. I just no. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. And I know people can multitask and do all of them. I'm not one of those guys. But I feel like when I was younger, I could do all three. I could watch movies just nonstop and then turn around and play video games for hours. And then just sit there in my room and listen to music. Like doing nothing else, just laying on your bed, listening to new music. And it seems like the older I got, I just pushed those two things out of the way. Music and video games. Like now, if I get any free time, I like watching movies. I can listen to music, but I don't really get like immersed into it like I used to, which is a shame because I mean I literally like my music taste I've like dried up since like 2003. I want to say like last time I knew like current music. And I'm not saying I don't know some stuff. New stuff does come out from time to time. I'll grab, but I'll be posing on a lot of that shit. Like I don't know the new hot bands out there right now. And video games are the same way. I still got PS2 sitting over there, and I'm not even making that. That's not even a joke. The PS2 is sitting right over there. I got PS3, but I literally just use it as a Blu-ray DVD player and my Netflix Hulu machine. That's the only thing I use it for. I do not play games. I just don't do it. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like the gaming world passed me by, which is a shame because honestly there's a lot of great horror video games. Like we're kind of in a golden age. Unfortunately, the Friday 13th game kind of got shut down. I mean, it's still active, but no new content for it or anything like that. But new game coming out that I saw the trailer for and it looked kind of cool, called Industria. And they literally said they were going for a David Lynch type game. It looks like a sci-fi steampunk kind of thing. And if you guys know your video games, I guess you'd know this, but there was a game that came out a while back ago called Alan Awake, I think is what it's called. And it looked kind of like that, but like that in a steampunk world. Like there's a lot of like robots. I swear, for a quick glimpse of something, you see like this thing like like robotic legs coming after him, and it looked like what was his name, Snuffles from the first Rick and Morty episode, where the dog gets like robot intelligence and everything. It reminded me of that. But then at one point in this game, you look up and there's like a giant like Attack the Titan kind of giant being walking around. So it's one of those things where it's like it's gonna be some weird shit. And it even like. We're showing the cutscenes because I don't know how much gameplay they actually showed. It looked like it was mostly just like you're watching the cutscenes, but it did look very Lynchian. Like I was getting some Twin Peak vibes. They had a whole in Mulholland Drive. They had a whole like sequence inside of an opera house, and I was just like, holy shit! Like it does look like if they did like Twin Peaks the game, the revival series, when they're in the big opera house or playhouse, whatever you want to call it. That's what really reminded me of more than anything else. But anyways, it is what it is. But Industria, apparently it's going to be coming to Steam soon. So yeah, that's online, right? That's all like, that's not like a console, is it? It's just like an online subscription thing. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know games. I'm not a poser. I don't know games. But yeah, Industria coming to a console near you. So anyways, that's all we got for news. We're going to move on now. So last week we crowned our villains champion. We had a huge 8 villain tournament. Oh, we had 16. Because goddamn it, on this show we go big. And we had a 16 villain tournament. And surprisingly, Annabelle won, which was not well received by most people. But it is what it is. You guys voted, or the ones who did voted her in. So it's like, yeah, sorry. But we're gonna move on now, and I decided to go a different route this time. We're going to move the tournament game aside, and we're going to focus on a new type of wrestling construct. We're talking about the Battle Royal. And I guess for the purposes of horror villains, doesn't necessarily have to be inside the ring, I guess. We can literally do a purge setting. I mean, I know Battle Royal mode's a very popular thing in video games right now. Fortnite and all that bullshit. So, I mean, you can literally put it anywhere. You have it in the middle of the field, middle of an industrial complex. Have it in a horror world. Maybe there's different segments here. They battle in different areas. It doesn't matter to me. But we're going to take 10. That's right. 10 different horror villains. And we're going to throw them in the blender. Put them in a battle royal. And what we're going to do this time is, instead of voting for who you want to win, you vote for who you want to be eliminated. Until we get down to the last two. We get down to the last two, then it'll be choose the winner. But right now, we're going eliminations. So, I was trying to think, what 10 to put in here. Now, last time, I literally just typed into Google your, top horror villains. This came up with a generic list. And I just wrote down top 16. And there was like 20, I think is what they popped up with, or maybe 18, I don't remember. Anyways, so that's how I picked the last time. But I was like, I don't want to just keep bringing those guys back. Like, I feel like that would get boring and repetitive. So I decided I need to spruce it up. Now, there's definitely a theme here, and two of these villains will not fit the theme at all. Mainly just because I'm bringing Annabelle back. She's going to have to defend her title. So Annabelle is back in the Battle Royal. And then the second person in this thing, I wanted them in the last one, and as I had the list out there, it was like the next one, and I didn't really want to bump anybody, and I was like, well, you Daniel, you're just going to do random, and you pick the, top 16 that was there, no one would have cared, no one would have known. I could have just lied to you guys and not said anything, and it would have been okay, but I guess mentally, like my personal OCD was not going to let me do it. The Thing, yes, this is the alien, The Thing. And we're going to go Carpenter. Like, let's be realistic. We're not doing The Thing from another world. I'm not going to see some big guy in a rubber suit running around. Nah, we're doing The Thing. We're doing the Carpenter one. Or the prequel one as well. It's the same movie. They're doing the prequels together. So, but anyways, that's The Thing. And that was just because I feel like he got left out of the last tournament, and I want him in this one. Or want it in this one. However, we got 8 other ones. And I did decide to go on a theme with these. I decided to go Universal Old School with this. So, run down the list right now. So far on in the battle roll, we got Annabelle, which we already know her powers. Weapon of choice is just supernatural, demonic powers. She's from the Conjuring universe, and I guess weaknesses is just fucking bring a priest and Bible, and they can kind of exercise her down. They can't get rid of her. They've yet to get rid of her. All they can really do is just kind of weaken her in the doll and put it inside of a locked box that it still gets out of sometimes. The Thing, power or weapon of choice, just it's a fucking alien. I mean, weapon of choice. It can replicate. That's one of his powers. It can replicate humans, and of course, it can assume the identity, and so they act normal, and you don't know who it is. So it can have the element of surprise on you. Which don't really matter in a battle royal, I guess. But when it breaks out, it's just fucking crazy because it's like massive tentacles and teeth and claws and just fucking brutal. It'll tear your ass up. Weakness, I guess you can kill it. You can blow it up, torch it. Fire seems to be the thing. So, we're on old school Universal monsters. So number 3, we got the Bride. That's right, the Bride of Frankenstein. Which, for being extremely popular, she only had like in that one movie. I didn't see all the Abbott and Costello, so I don't know if the Bride ever was one of those that made a comeback later on. I know a lot of them did, but I'm not sure if the Bride ever did. Bride, I don't know what her power would be. She screams at one point. Her weakness is fire. She burns up. I know they did a remake that had like Sting in it in the 80s. I'm not making that up. The singer Sting was in a movie. I think it was just called The Bride too, if I'm not mistaken. And then when they relaunched the Dark Universe, and they completely fucked the shit out of that one up. I want to say it was supposed to be Scarlett Johansson, or was she going to be Creature Black? I remember they had somebody set up. They had like a big A-list actor to be the Bride, and that's been or maybe it's Angelina Jolie. Is there Angelina Jolie or Scarlett Johansson? But either way, it's not happening now, and it got kicked to the side. But with Blumhouse bringing the Invisible Man back, and I hear they're doing a Wolfman and something else, it looks like, guess what? We may be getting the Bride at some point. And it's just funny how like the Frankenstein's monster is the popular one there, but it seems like the Bride, like people are wanting her to have not just a movie to be a part of Frankenstein. No, they want her to have her own film. But it's like, well, who's she gonna be the bride for? Find out, I guess. So the bride. Up next we got Creatures from the Black Lagoon. Once again, the Gill Man, I guess, but it's like they call him the Gill Man, but it's like the movie is called Creatures from the Black Lagoon, and I feel like that's what I always refer to him as. So I'm not gonna call him the Gill Man. I'm gonna call him Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yes, he was just human or normal, right? Like he's a mutation, but like you could kill him normal, right? A bullet to the head would end the Gill Man, if I'm not mistaken. So, strength is good underwater. He can breathe underwater, and he can grab your ass. I think he can attack it too. I think he had teeth and shit. It's been a long ass time since I saw Creature from Black Lagoon. I didn't watch Shape of Water. I know. You need to get on that, right? I'm sorry, I haven't. Count Dracula, of course. Everything's a fucking weakness of that guy. Sunlight, steak, crucifix, garlic. I know in the book silver was something, but then that kind of got phased out. That turned into more of a werewolf thing, but originally it was silver. Yeah, there you go. Just don't have to invite him. He can't come get you, or if he does, you can get you. It doesn't matter. He's Count Dracula. But his strength is he can shapeshift. He can turn into fog, a wolf, a bat. Bite your ass. He can just look at you and hypnotize you. I mean, dude. Jack of all trades. Got Dr. Jekyll coming up next. Dr. Jekyll, mastermind. However, we all know that he has a dark side. Yes, it's not just Jekyll, because it's going to be Hyde in this battle royal as well. And once, and depending on which version you see, either he drinks the potion, he takes the pill, whatever it is, he turns. And then, of course, he can't control his dark half. I know in Van Helsing, they couldn't put him down with his regular bullets, but he blew up like Hawk size in that one. I prefer to keep it old school, so no Hulk hides. But still a madman, still has a murderous lust. So Frankenstein's monster up next. When I was younger, I was one of those pricks that was always like, you have to say Frankenstein's monster because Frankenstein was a doctor. God damn it! And now I'm just like, I wish that wasn't a thing. It's like 28 days later, like how everybody's just like so adamant. It's not a zombie movie, it's an infected movie. And I used to be that guy, I used to be a prick like that, like, oh no, it's not a zombie movie. But it's like, for all intent and purposes, it's a fucking zombie movie, for fuck's sake. Like, they run, get over it. It's a zombie movie, but, the pricks out there will argue. So Frankenstein's monster, this dude's like indestructible. Like, seriously, of all the Universal monsters, he is my absolute favorite. He's like the Jason Voorhees of the Universal world. You can't stop him. You just can't. Every movie, you can't burn him. They threw him in like lava at one point. They freeze him, and he keeps coming back. There's nothing can stop this dude. You'd have to chainsaw his ass up and tear him apart. I don't think he'd get close enough. I think he'd fucking knock that shit out of your hand. So yeah, Frankenstein's monster. We got the Invisible Man. We're gonna go old school, not the Blumhouse one. We're talking about the guy with the bandages on his fucking head, the walking sunglasses. Another madman. Once again, just good guy, good intentions, and then he turns himself invisible, goes insane, he goes on a kill spree. But he has the talk about the element of surprise. It's that guy right there. We got the Mummy. Talk about Imhotep. There actually were two different mummies in the Universal series. You had Imhotep, which was Boris Karloff, and then you had Karis, which was like everybody else, Lon Chaney and George Zuko, I think was one of them. And I don't remember who the other guy was, but you had a shit ton of them. We're going to go with the Karloff, we're going to go with the original, old school, the Mummy, Imhotep. And till he gets his soul back, you can say the words and, whatever, and send him back and whatever. When he's in mummy form, though, it's like, bullets ain't gonna hurt him. He's slow as shit. That's a weakness, though. He's very fucking slow. You can probably outrun his ass. But if he gets up on you and starts choking you out, you're dead. And finally, we got the Wolfman. Lawrence Tabot, something like that. Lon Chaney. We know weakness. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he feels he's remorseful of everybody there. If everybody else, he's the only one that feels remorse. But, and Silver is a weakness as well. Jumping around. Sorry. Silver. I shoot these really late at night, and I'm like, don't do it, Daniel. Do it during the daytime when you're awake. And then I get on these rants, and then now I'm just like, shit, it's late, and now I can feel it. Working. Sorry. I wish this was my full-time job. I'd be bright-eyed and bushy-eyed every time, but I'm not. Wolfman. So yeah, Silver's his weakness. Strength, though, he's a fucking wolf. And we're gonna go old school, so he's not gonna like turn to an actual wolf and run out. And he's like, no, he's a wolf man, so he's gonna walk around and he'll choke motherfuckers out. I always love that in the old school wolf movies. Like you couldn't just, he wasn't American Wolf in London that would turn into a big ass wolf and just maul people. Like no, Wolfman would just walk up people and choke them out. And every female victim in those old movies did the same thing. They'd just be like, ah! And they would just stand in place and scream as the mummy or the Wolfman or whoever else was just lurking closer to the camera. And then the girl's like, no! And then get him and then throttle him. And I've seen them all. I've seen them all. And it's just like, they could run. There's room behind you. Turn around, just run. Run, bitch, run. Nope, we don't get none of that. So there you guys go. Quick rundown. Annabelle, The Thing, The Bride, The Creature from Black Lagoon, Count Dracula, Dr. Jekyll, Frankenstein's Monster, Invisible Man, The Mummy, The Wolfman. They're all going at it. And only one person can win. Boom. Tell me who's the first one to bite it here. So there you go. Drop the comments down below. You know how to do it by this point. So guys, let's get on to it now. Let's get on to the main event, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Going back to 1974, where 5 young friends decide to go to, well, there's 2 of them that are actually siblings, Sally and Franklin. Sally's the good-looking one in the group, and Franklin's the one in the wheelchair. And they go to visit their grandfather's grave because there was some grave robbers, or not vandals, not robbers, vandals. And then they go to go check out the house, the Franklin house, and Franklin family house. And of course, while they're there, they run into some neighbors in the form of Leatherface and his family. So I'm not going to go through this thing blow by blow. I feel like, what else can you say about this movie? I'm not going to break down why it's so brilliant. I'll just tell you my first experience watching this thing, and then I'll give you top reasons why I like it, and then we'll just call it quits. There's no reason to, go into this thing and drag it out longer than it is. So when I was a kid, I'd always go up to North End Video, which was a local video store down here in Bedford, and had one of the greatest horror movie sections ever. Never be rivaled. And at this time, for Bedford being such a small town, we had several video stores. Like, it was a video town, and I've been to all of them. And you'd go to each of them, and the horror section, they were all pretty decent, but they were just like, a couple aisles, 3 aisles like that, a couple walls. But like North End was like an entire corner. It was like the back dank corner away from everything else, and it was just like, oh, it was like the horror films were back in this corner, and then like the X-rated room was right next to it. Like, we all remember the X-rated room, and I was really pissed because North End Video had the best selection, and I kept thinking, like, when I turn 18, I'm going to that X-rated room, and guess what? Place shut down before I turned 18, and Daniel did not get to go see the glorious porn. And like Family Video has a porno section, very like sanitized and vanilla, and it's really small, and it's just like, what's the fucking point? Thanks, Family Video. Thanks, Blockbuster, for destroying our. Not only Blockbuster even had an X-rated room, did they? I don't know. We didn't have one of those. We had a Family Video. Family Video was ours, and of course, I guess they're the reigning champs right now because that's the only video store out there. Anyways, I digress. So, but when I was a kid, when I was really hardcore getting into horror, already popped my horror cherry, and I was researching at this point. Like, now you're just going back and you're trying to watch anything and everything you can. And I remember, the big 6, at least what I always thought was the big 6. Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, Pinhead. And I always thought the Tall Man was one of those. And, as I would realize, Tall Man's very niche, which is unfortunate. But Phantasm, like one of the greatest series ever. It's no, fuck that. It's the best horror series, period. As far as a coherent timeline and storyline goes. Well, maybe not coherent, but it is all together. Continuity-wise, it's great. There's no direct sequels. There's been no reboots. No one's fucked with it. It's great, and it's perfect all the way through. Rivaled only by maybe Saw. Even though they try to reboot that twice, at least so far it's all in the same timeline. They're not ignoring parts right now. So, but Leatherface, of course, is the other one. Now, when I was little, my mom was cool with whatever I watched. She didn't care, watch whatever you want. But like 2 movies, or 2 videos, I guess I should say, because one of them was a movie and the other one was a series of videos. Like the 2 things that she just kind of put her foot down on, like, you just cannot watch this, was Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the Faces of Death videos. Faces of Death makes perfect sense, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was like it was a legitimate movie. But I don't know. I guess she assumed because it was supposed to be based on a true story. And you gotta remember too, before internet, I just remember as a kid that people thought that was like legit happened. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre happened. Leatherface is a real person, and it's not true. In fact, it was based on Ed Gein, who's in Wisconsin, not even fucking Texas at all. And of course, the whole there's elements of the Ed Gein person or the killer in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but for the most part, it's a completely fabricated story. But I remember as a kid, people would tell me, "Oh no, that's legit. That's it." Even up until 2003, so I'm not even a kid anymore. And I did my research at that point. I was like, "Oh no, this is complete bullshit." Because you remember this is before a time of like behind-the-scenes special features. I mean, DVDs weren't the biggest thing yet, or if they were, not a whole lot of people watched it. And so people were just like, "Oh yeah, Leatherface. That's real. That's a real story. 5 kids got killed in Texas, and I saw the news footage of it. It's ridiculous." But I guess all I can think of is like, the reputation of this movie was the reason my mom did not want me to watch it. I take it back, there was a third thing. She didn't want me to see The Exorcist, but I wasn't really pushing for The Exorcist, which I've already covered The Exorcist when I did the review for that a while back ago. So go check out that review. Anyways, that may be my first episode too. So yeah, first one. Go check that out. But anyways, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, she was just like, you can't watch that. And I remember, watched tons of slashers, tons of, blood and gore movies, and I wanted to see, the one that the reputation is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And so when I was 10 years old, which now when I'm saying it out loud, it's like, man, I was probably too young then, but it's like, I don't know, we were just built better back then. Like, kids today are just way too fucking soft, but I was 10 years old, and I got her to agree. I was like, can I please go down and rent Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Please. And I was just like, and so her agreement was yes, but she has to watch it with me. I guess she thought I was just gonna cry and piss myself. And so, anyways, I run down there and I watch it. And I think what I got her to do is my grandfather had a bunch of the Faces of Death videos. Like, he was all about that. Those were also turned out to be 99% fabricated. I think there was a couple of scenes that, real footage of deaths, but the rest of that was just like fake as shit. And so anyways, I remember he had a bunch of those, and I snuck a few, and I was watching them. And so she caught me watching those. But then I guess I was like, this ain't nothing. Like, you kept saying like, you don't want me to watch it because it's real, and I'll have nightmares. And I've been watching these now for the past few months, and I'm fine. Let me watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So she finally relented, and so I get to go watch it, and I'll bring it back, and because we live like, I don't know, it's a good little walk, about a mile or maybe about a mile I'd say from North End when I was 10. So I got to walk down there and watch it. And I brought back, and so we're watching together. And I just remember the thing that didn't scare me in that sense of like jump scares, but I do remember that the movie made me feel different than the other ones, because I don't know, every movie I've ever watched, you just know it's a movie. I guess it feels. It feels fake. It is what it is. Like even like the low budget movies. Still has a bit of a gloss on it, still, and this movie just felt like, it felt real. The look of it looked real. It looked like it was almost like a documentary, the way it was shot, the way, it looked like you weren't supposed to be watching it. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it. It was like, I didn't know what snuff films were back then, even though I was watching Faces of Death, which was supposed to be snuff. It felt like I was watching a snuff film is what it felt like. And the fact that like, even as a kid, you can point out bad acting in these low-budget movies, but this movie never had bad acting. It had very naturalistic acting, which is crazy because like I don't think any of these people ever went on to do much of anything, except a couple low-budget here and there, and they're not great in those. So it's just like they weren't good actors, but they were great naturalistic performers. And so that was the one thing I guess that like it kind of took me back, like holy shit, like this seems so real. And yeah, and once again, it's one of those things where the reputation precedes it as it being this gory, blood-soaked fucking nightmare. And of course, we all know that this actually has very light blood in it. Actually, it's all implied. We never see the meat hook enter that young girl's back. We never see Franklin get the chainsaw to the face. Yet, when you're 10 years old if you would have asked me that back then, I'd been like, oh yeah, it shows everything. Like, I don't know, you build it up more up here, you know. So I just remember thinking I'm watching something so brutal, something over, you know, and it's just like thinking of like, that's the thing about me when I was a kid was like, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of kids that watched horror. And that's what's so weird is like, I talked to a lot of people down, they're like, oh yeah, I used to watch horror since I was a kid. Like, you never mentioned it. Like, I was always the kid like, hey, I watched Friday the 13th for the first time. And like, nobody saw it. Everybody had like older brothers or older siblings that watched it, but they never saw it. And it's just like, really? But then you talk to those people later on, they're like, oh yeah, I watched that shit when I was a kid. It's like, no, you haven't. Fuck off. But this movie felt like no kid, like nobody saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre at that age. It was insane. It was like this dark little secret film that everybody's heard about, but no one's actually watched. And so that was kind of my recollection of, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, at least, you know, the first view of it. Didn't freak me out or anything like that, but and then we were really big. I hope I don't get arrested for this. Do the thing right here. We were really big, my family, about bootlegging those tapes. So we'd always buy or rent a big stack of tapes, and then my uncle would always tape them off. And so I had that taped out for me, and I watched it all the time when I was a kid. You know, I think once again, you know, the realistic look of it, just the fact that it looked like, I mean, it feels like it could happen. You know, natural performances. That's all I can say. Like, everything about it, just it's great. It really is. It's a perfect film. It really is. Exploitation at its best. None gets better than that. And the thing is, the fact that it doesn't get as bloody as people think it does makes it even better, because it's like it has that. Oh my God, it's so, you know, gruesome or whatever. Talk about fucked up franchises. So this thing was followed by 2 sequels. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and then Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. And then part 4 is fun because I've heard from different people, and it's been described for different people, part 4, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation, which is honestly, I think for street cred, I have to say that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my favorite. But I'll tell you right now, I prefer, you know, I'll just fucking say it, the Next Generation is my favorite movie because it has Matthew fucking McConaughey putting the greatest performance of all time ever in that movie. Oh, I love it. Like, yeah, he won the Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. He did great in that, but guess what? He deserved one for Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation. It is fucking perfect. Anyways, that movie's weird because it has, like, I thought, when I watched it, I thought it was like part 4. Like, why wouldn't it be part 4? And then I remember when I bought the DVD, I was reading like the liner notes, and Kim Hinkle, I think is the guy's name. He was like the other guy. Toby Hooper's the director. He was like the co-writer and the producer as well. Like, it was basically both their movies. And whenever Toby Hooper went one way, he took it and went this way. And so to him, he said that this was supposed to be his direct sequel. Like, this is what part 2 should have been. And then there was another producer who produced the movie that I saw in an interview, and he said, oh no, he goes, that was a remake of part 1. Like, this was supposed to just be its own, you know, it's a and I'm like, what the fuck? So, depending on how you look at it, and it fits in all 4 of them, I guess, I like to think of it as part 4. Like, that to me is part 4. But then, of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre will be remade in 2003, which I think was really the first of, like, the big boom of Hollywood horror remakes. And, you know, unfortunately, it would give us a shit ton of crappy remakes, but I thoroughly enjoyed the 2003 remake. In fact, I've seen the original so much that anymore I don't like watching it. Like, whenever I had to watch it again to review it here, it really was just like, I just watched this on Monster Vision, or not, sorry, last drive-in. He had it for his Dinners of Death Thanksgiving marathon, and I was like, I already watched it, so I was like, I guess I'll dust off again to watch it. But like the 2003, I'm not sick of it yet, so I can watch it just about any time. It is good. It had a prequel. The prequel. Prequel movie, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. I don't know. I wasn't huge on it the first time I watched it, and then the second time I watched it was a little bit better. Still not completely sold on it, but I mean, it is what it is. I feel like it's just too close to that. And then they would review. They bring it back 2013 with Texas Chainsaw, which was another direct sequel to the original. Like, they just said, fuck it, that's what we're doing. And I hated that one. That was just such garbage. And people are just like, it's just funny, like, after it came out, a lot of people liked it. Simon included. But whenever it came out, I remember reading everybody like, well, it wasn't meant to be taken seriously. It's like, what the fuck off then? You're wasting my time. Whenever I hear that, when they're like, we're just having fun with it, fuck, it's like, no, you have fun with regular generic ass slasher movies. You don't do that with a franchise fucking movie. And apparently, it must not have done so great because I remember when it came out, they were like, oh, it's going to be awesome. We're going to make a shit ton more of these because it was Lionsgate at the time. Oh, that's right. Lionsgate got out of the horror game. I forgot about that. Yeah, there's a whole. There was an interview with a guy who did My Bloody Valentine, which they did the remake, was also Lionsgate. But apparently, Lionsgate was just like they're embarrassed. Even though horror built Lionsgate, like Saw and Hostel, like all that shit built it. And so literally, to hear them go, oh, we don't do that shit anymore. It's like, oh, that's ridiculous. But apparently, at one point, they were going to do like another fucking shit ton of these, and they didn't. And then I forget. I don't know who has the rights to it now, but the next movie was Leatherface, which was, I guess, was in line with the original and the sequel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or just Texas Chainsaw. It was just called Leatherface, and I want to say it was a prequel to that trilogy, I guess. Trilogy if you count the original part of that. But now I hear they're going to be rebooting it again and doing another direct sequel. And it's like, God damn, I hate. And I know that's been around for a while, because I know Halloween's done it more than a couple times. Whatever. But it seems like that's what everybody's doing now. It's just a quick, like, we'll just erase some sequels you don't like and just do the direct sequel. It's like, fuck off. So anyways, yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre has spawned a wacky fucking timeline and a franchise on its own. But there it is. So that's all I got, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, once again, this is one of the most iconic horror films of all time. Drop those comments down below. And that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Join me next week. I don't know what we're going to be doing next week, but we'll definitely have some fun. So that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Oh, shit. Didn't always run. Sorry. Hi. Thank you for watching that video. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to our channel. All that good stuff you do right here on YouTube, go ahead and do it. Check out our other videos. Go to our playlist. We got episodes of TPS TV, Journey Through the Dark Side. We got a new show coming out, the horror movie review with Daniel Richardson. This guy. And of course, our short film, Entropy. You can find all that and more right here on YouTube. And then check out, yeah, look at that. All of our social media right there. And we don't just, copy and paste like the same post and put it on all. No, that's ridiculous. 3 different platforms, 3 different posts. I mean, the behind the scenes stuff you see on Twitter will not be the same stuff you see on Instagram. So there you go right there. So be sure to get on, give us a follow and a like on all that right there. Keep up to date. Have you seen Unspeakable Acts yet? No? Come on. Pick you up the DVD right now. Links over there. Oh, yeah. It's only $7. $3 shipping and handling. And of course, if you've already seen it and you haven't seen the public domain dungeon yet, boom, $5 DVD right there. So 5 S&P as well. Or sorry, 3 S&P as well. So there you go. Do that. And if you got the spare change, you want to hit us up, donate a little bit over here to TPS Productions. Our Patreon is right there. Oh yeah. So that's all we. Oh my God, sorry. I'm getting fired, ain't I? Guys, that's all we got. Thank you for watching.